Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. And hey, go blue. So yeah, I wanted to do a short live stream tonight. I initially planned to do this last week, but I'm finishing up my book, so time is my most limited resource right now. And we're just under 2 months until kickoff, until that opening game versus Fresno State at the end of August. So I think the last time I did a stream, I talked about the linebackers, and tonight I want to say a few words about the passing attack. I was just going to focus on the wide receivers at first, but I saw an article on Alex Orji. I'm going to read it. It's very short, and then I'll wrap up. So I want to talk about the passing attack a little bit tonight, because that's the quarterback position and the wide receivers. I think those are going to be the biggest question mark. Well, the offensive line too. I think I'll do another stream or video once we get deeper into fall camp, and then once we get a better idea of who the offensive lineman will be. And then I'll do something on the running backs and the offensive line, even though we know Donovan Edwards is going to be the number one running back. So, but tonight I want to talk a little bit about the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. So let me make sure I can see myself on YouTube. Please smash that like button. Also consider subscribing to the channel if you are not subscribed. Okay, so I am live. And let's see, let me go here. Okay, let me click on this. And once again, our top Michigan fan, and as of late, the strongest participant on my channel, Antoine Johnson, is in the chat. Antoine says, "What's up, Doc? Don't tell me you turn into one of these worrying Michigan fans." Antoine, what have I said that would suggest that? Just because I said the quarterback room and the wide receivers are going to be the biggest question mark on the offense? Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we've had a 3-year first round, the 3-year starter. Actually, no, JJ was a 2-year starter, and a first round NFL quarterback go to the pros. We lost our 2 wide receivers, our 2 starters. So yeah, they have to reload there. Antoine says, "I'm going to school you. I'm going to treat you to some offensive schooling. Have you seen the Eagles play or the Ravens?" I've seen the Ravens play a little bit. They're close to here. I know that Lamar is their guy. Antoine, what are you getting at? Snowman has passed through. Snowman, did you do that show last night? I know you came into my other live stream and you were going to do a show. Did you do that show? Okay, here we go with the RPO. Antoine says, "We're going to run that RPO, and I will give you a prediction. Michigan's offense is going to be even harder to stop." You can bookmark that statement. Okay, everybody, you're hearing it first. You're hearing it first here from Antoine Johnson. Michigan is going to be an RPO heavy team, and it's going to be harder to stop than last year's team. Okay, without further ado, let me play my intro. I have 2 short pieces I'm going to sprint through. I'm going to talk just briefly about some recruiting, and then I'm going to jump into those 2 pieces, and then I will wrap the stream up. So, okay, Antoine, you keep doing what you do. Let's go blue. Antoine, I think one of these days we're gonna have to get you up here to give us a little X's and O's workshop on the RPO and just your your football philosophies in general. Okay. All right, everybody, welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. Big Discussions 76 Sports. Please smash that like button no matter how long you stay. And if you're watching on the playback, please smash that like button. So today I want to talk a little bit about the wide receivers and our projected quarterback. I saw an article about a month or so ago about Tyler Morris. Okay, so it turns out Tyler Morris is going to be the dean of the wide receiver room, even though Samaj played more last year and Samaj Morgan got more catches than Tyler Morris. And I'm going to be honest, I was thinking about this story as well. Antoine has shared a channel. Whose channel is this, Antoine? Get rid of Tom Brady and Yvonne Orji. There's actually an Yvonne Orji from the TV show Insecure. Antoine, is it copyright? Is it a copyright? Will I get a copyright claim? As a YouTube content creator, that's the big thing. Let me open this link really quickly to see what Antoine see what The Rock is cooking here. Okay. You know what? Okay, so we have a little bit of Jalen Hurts running the RPO here. Okay. All right, Antoine. Well, I'll play a little bit of that once I get done, but I'm gonna have to try to do the fair use thing so that I don't get a copyright claim. All right. Let's see. Antoine says people don't understand that having Orji in the box gives Michigan the advantage almost every play, unless a team drops the safety in the box. Let's see. Antoine says, so it comes down to a numbers and a gap scheme, which Michigan knows how to run without having a quarterback man advantage. Okay. I just did a quick scan of the recruiting before I started the stream. Antoine, as per usual, feel free to chime in. Okay. This is from Michigan Football Recruiting, Mason Brew. Okay, I'm not going to open up all these and read these. So 2025 four-star tight end Andrew Olish commits to Michigan. That was on July 8th. 2025 star safety Ivan Taylor flips commitment from Notre Dame to Michigan. That was on July 8th. Let's see. So they just had the barbecue. Shout out to Johnny Olden. Hopefully they served some quality barbecue this year. Let's see. 2025 four-star edge Julius Holly commits to Michigan. Okay. There's another one here. 2025 three-star linebacker Chase Taylor commits to Michigan. 2025 four-star wide receiver Jacob Washington commits to Michigan. 2025 three-star offensive lineman Caden Strayhorn commits to Michigan. And then 2025 four-star running back Donovan Johnson commits to Michigan as well. So, yeah, they're bringing the players in. That was one of the questions I had when Coach Harbaugh went off to the NFL. Would they be able to reload the cupboard? And up to this point, it looks like Sharon Moore and his staff and his revamped staff, they have been able to reload the cupboard at all positions. So, all right. So now that that's out of the way, I'm going to go over Michigan's offensive statistics from last year just briefly. And I think that will set up the short discussion I'm going to have tonight regarding the wide receiver room and then who's going to play quarterback. So this is coming from the M Go Blue website. So this is coming straight from Schembechler Hall. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you are not subscribed. You know, things are a little less. Shout out to the King of the North, Johnny Olden. Things are a little less controversial over here. Johnny is over the last couple of weeks, he's been embroiled in a battle with Ohio State fans. So, you know, I'm a smaller channel, so there are a few less fireworks over here for me. But maybe that's a good thing because I'm a little less confrontational. Okay, so Michigan's cumulative stats from last season. So Michigan went 15-0 overall, 9-0 in the Big Ten. Michigan scored an average of 35.87 points per game. Michigan scored a total of 538 points. Michigan gained 121 rushing first downs. Michigan gained 159 passing first downs, 18 penalties, it looks like. And Michigan generated a total of 298 total first downs. Okay, so you can see right there, the offense was very, very balanced, even from day one. From the East Carolina game through the Bowling Green game, and from Rutgers on, the team was very, very balanced in terms of production. JJ, aside from the Bowling Green game, JJ was out there just playing pitch and catch for the most part early on with Roman Wilson, and then to Colston Loveland, and then to a lesser degree Cornelius Johnson, and then they were handing the ball off to Blake Corum quite a bit. Blake Corum got off early. Donovan Edwards struggled until the end of last year when he came on against Penn State. But when you think about Team 144, you want to think balance. So let me go back. Antoine, you keep working your magic there. And please smash that like button if you haven't. Okay. So in terms of rushing, Michigan generated a total of 2,766 rushing yards last year. Okay. They had 563 attempts. They had an average of 4.5 yards per carry. They averaged 169.1 yards per game. They scored 40 rushing touchdowns. And yeah, so I didn't read the rushes for losses, but their net total was 2,536 yards, rushing yards per game. Okay. In terms of the passing attack, we're going to take a quick look at JJ stats after this. So Michigan attempted 361 passes. The Michigan quarterbacks, most of these were JJ McCarthy, completed 260, and there were 5 interceptions there. And I think 2 to 3 of those came against Bowling Green. So I think he tried to force the ball up there to Colston Loveland, and he didn't have the best game against Bowling Green, but Michigan still won that game handily. So Michigan averaged 213.67 yards per pass. Michigan scored 24 passing touchdowns, and Michigan threw for 3,205 yards. So once again, Team 144 played balanced, complementary football. Okay. In terms of total offense, Michigan ran 924 total plays. They averaged 6.2 yards per play. They averaged 382.7 yards per game. And let's see, that they generated a total of 5,741 yards, and they scored a total of 69 touchdowns. Let's see. This is the return data. I'm not going to go over this as much. I'm not going to go into detail about this. And I don't see any returns here, any returns in terms of touchdowns on kickoffs or punt returns. Samaj Morgan almost returned that punt against Purdue in the Big Ten championship game, but he ran out of gas as he was getting towards the goal line. Let's see. Time of possession. This was huge for Michigan, especially against the Ohio State Buckeyes. They had that 7-yard drive in the fourth quarter, which killed the clock and put the game on Kyle McCord's shoulders within the last 2 minutes of the game. Of course, we know Rod Moore intercepted Kyle McCord after, I think it was Derek Moore or Kenneth Grant or one of those guys, Josiah Stewart, sacked Kyle McCord toward the end of the game. Michigan possessed the ball. Michigan held the ball for an average of 32 minutes and 14 seconds per game. Let's see. In terms of third down conversions, Michigan had a 43% third down conversion rate, and Michigan also had a 77.3% fourth down conversion rate. And those fourth down conversions were significant. And that's where Blake Corum and the offensive line came in very handily, because in many instances they were able to just hand the ball off to Blake Corum, and our offensive line was able to lean in on those opposing defensive lines on fourth down quite a few times. Please smash that like button if you haven't. The kicking game was huge as well. Let's see. Fumbles lost. Let's see. Michigan fumbled 12 times, and they turned it over 3 times. There were, sacks for yards lost. I think this is for the defense. There were 40 for 293 yards. James Turner went 66 for 68 in terms of points after touchdowns. And then in the red zone, Michigan was 59 for 66 for red zone attempts and scores. And Michigan, 47 for 66. I think this is touchdowns per those visits to the red zone. Okay. So I'm going to zero in right now on the quarterback play and the wide receiver play. Okay. So individual. So JJ, this is the breakdown for our quarterbacks last year. So JJ McCarthy played in all 15 games, right? And he had a passer. I always get these mixed up, passer rating versus quarterback rating. I think that was the quarterback. I think that's the quarterback rating. But anyway, he completed 240 passes off of 332 attempts. He threw 4 interceptions. Again, I think 3 of those came against Bowling Green. He had a completion percentage of 72.3%. He threw for 2,991 yards. He threw for 22 touchdowns, and his longest throw was for 54 yards, and he averaged 199.4 yards per game. So after JJ, and all of these guys here are still on the team. So these are the guys competing for the quarterback position now. For Team 145, Jack Tuttle, Jaden Denigal, Alex Orji, and Jaden Davis is on the roster now as well as a true freshman. Donovan Edwards is here. He threw the ball a couple times. He had a big completion in the Rose Bowl where he threw it back to JJ, and JJ found Roman Wilson. But Alex Orji last year, for the most part, was put on the field as a runner, as a change of pace runner, and to use his size to move the chains and just to give defenses a different look. So last year, in terms of passing, so we don't know how effective Alex Orji is going to be in the pass game. And this is where Antoine comes in and says, who cares? Because we're going to run the RPO. So last year, Alex Orji played in 6 games. He doesn't have a rating. Right. So it looks like Alex Orji did not throw a pass last year. All of his production came on the ground. So there's a big unknown there. But once again, this is where Antoine comes in and says, hey, we're going to run the RPO. So what does it matter? Okay, Jack Tuttle went 15 for 17 last year. He threw for 130 yards. He threw for 1 touchdown. Jaden Denegal went 4 for 5 last year. He threw for 50 yards and 1 touchdown. And so we don't really know. We don't really know what Alex Orji would do as the full-time starter as a passer. Antoine says, Doc, do you know the average completion rate of a college quarterback? Google it. This is why I debate people and their stupid argument about Orji. And don't forget, Orji threw 72% in the spring. Okay. Let's take a quick look at the wide receivers. Okay, so Roman Wilson. Our top wide receivers were Roman Wilson, Colston Loveland, and CJ, and then followed by AJ Barner, Donovan Edwards. So Donovan was used quite a bit out of the backfield last year. Samaj Morgan, Tyler Morris, and Blake caught a few. But I'm going to focus on these top 3. Colston Loveland is back. Roman Wilson is gone. Cornelius Johnson is gone. So Roman caught 48 balls for 789 yards and 12 touchdowns. Colston Loveland caught 45 balls for 649 yards and 4 touchdowns. Cornelius, despite his, I'm trying to pick the right word here, despite his big game against Ohio State in 2022, he caught 47 balls for 604 yards and 1 touchdown. So I think last year we were expecting more out of Cornelius, but Cornelius caught some good balls and he made some plays for us, but Roman was the number 1 target. And Roman Wilson and Colston Loveland were JJ McCarthy's 2 top targets, with occasional balls caught by AJ Barner and Samaj Morgan. Tyler Morris, who's going to be the focus of what I'm going to read tonight, he caught 13 balls for 197 yards and 1 touchdown. His 1 touchdown might have been one of the biggest touchdowns of the year, and that was against the Alabama Crimson Tide in the Rose Bowl, right, Snowman? That was against Alabama in the Alabama Crimson Tide in the Rose Bowl, right, Snowman? Snowman, I'm sorry, I'm just busting your chops a little bit because you predicted that Alabama would win the Rose Bowl against us. Snowman says, Dr. Dunbar, kind sir, how are you? I love to have you join me on the call for a few Big Ten games. Wow, Snowman, I've never done a call, so I don't know what that's like, but sure, I'm game, as Charles says. Everybody, please smash that like button if you haven't. The likes are free, and they help out the channel. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. The super chat is live, everything, all that stuff. My Cash App and PayPal are below in the description box if you want to leave something. Okay, so Samaj Morgan. So he's going to be the elder statesman in the wide receiver room. Not Samaj Morgan, Tyler Morris. Tyler Morris. And the interesting thing, Tyler Morris. I'm going to pull up the Rose Bowl for a second here. Let's see, 2024 Rose Bowl stats. That was a scariest game. That was a scary game. That was a scary game, but it was a glorious game. I took a little nap before I started this stream, so I think my brain is still, the cobwebs are still coming off. Okay, there's JJ right there with the Rose Bowl flower. Okay, where are... Okay. Box score. I don't want to spend too much time on the ESPN site because it's busy and it likes to freeze. Okay. These are the Michigan wide receivers in the Rose Bowl game, and they made some big plays against Alabama. A funny story, that was my first time really paying attention to Tyler Morris. I didn't really know who Tyler Morris was until he caught that crossing route. He ran that crossing route and caught that ball from JJ, and then tiptoed up the sidelines. And in the excitement of the game, it didn't really register to me that Tyler Morris caught the ball, because all season long, I'd only heard of Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson, Colston Loveland, AJ Barner, and Samaj Morgan late in the year catching balls. And then it wasn't until I did my live stream after the game that I looked over the stats and I said, okay, oh, Tyler Morris scored a touchdown. I just hadn't heard of him the entire season. But in that game, his one touchdown may have been the biggest touchdown from him that season. So in that game, he caught 2 balls for 45 yards in that one touchdown score where he tiptoed up the sideline in that first half. All right. Antoine says, I don't know, man. I need to make a video here that just a quick thing that says Antoine says. Antoine says Michigan fans keep saying we need a deep threat. What they don't understand is most college teams are mimicking Michigan's scheme, which is 2 safeties over the top. Teams are not giving up the deep ball. All right. Antoine says college and the NFL passing game. In the college and the NFL passing games, there are no throws deeper than 10 to 20 yards, and most of that is yards after the catch. Remember, Michigan's most prolific plays were slant routes. That's for the last 3 years. Yeah, I guess, Antoine, I guess Cornelius's deep ball against Ohio State, his second touchdown in 2022, I guess that was a post, wasn't it? Because Ohio State played the zero coverage and Cornelius ran and then ran across the middle, and JJ dropped a beautiful ball into his hands there. And then against TCU, the TCU loss, JJ threw a nice ball. He threw a couple of nice balls to Roman Wilson down the field. But I get your point. For the most part, there were slant routes and crossing routes and those tight end routes as well. Antoine says the only reason why Ohio State gave that up is because they got desperate and went to cover 0. That's true. Smash that like button if you haven't, everybody. And if you want to join Antoine there in the chat. Okay. So, Tyler Morris. And here's the picture of Tyler Morris after scoring his touchdown in the Rose Bowl and bursting onto the national scene. All right. This piece is entitled "There's a New Alpha in Michigan's receiver room." And this is about a month old, but I thought this was worth capturing here on my channel. Okay. And as soon as Chrome, okay, there we go. This caption says, Michigan wide receiver Tyler Morris celebrates a second quarter touchdown during the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California on January 1st. The winner of the game advances. The winner of the game advanced to Washington. We advanced against Washington. Okay. Receiver Tyler Morris has 16 career catches over 2 seasons at Michigan. The former top 150 recruit has shown flashes of his potential, like when he turned on the Jets against Alabama, tightrope to the sideline, and outran 2 defenders for a 38-yard touchdown. But he hasn't had the opportunity to be a go-to receiver yet because of the veterans in front of him in 2022 and 2023. Morris enters 2024 as the most experienced returning wideout on the roster. That has to be in terms of years, not necessarily plays, because Samaj Morgan got a lot of good minutes. Sounds like I'm on the basketball court. Samaj Morgan got a lot of snaps last season, late in the season. So they have to be talking about in terms of years. I would say the alpha in our room right now is Tyler Morris. Receivers coach Ron Bellamy said this week in the in the trenches podcast with John Jansen. He comes in with the most experience. He's the oldest, and he's a quiet leader. He doesn't say anything, but when he does, his voice is loud, and the guys understand that. Timo wants to be the best for everyone, and just the way he attacks the game, attacks the meetings, attacks practice. Bellamy will be relying on Morris's leadership off the field in 2024, but his production on it will also be conducive to the team's success. The Wolverines lost their top two receivers from last year's 15-0 national championship squad, in Roman Wilson and Cornelius Johnson, meaning many targets and receptions will be up for grabs in 2024. I think you can throw A.J. Barner in there as well because he caught a lot of balls. Morris played 36% of offensive snaps last season, according to Pro Football Focus, but only hauled in 13 passes for 197 yards. He understands there is added pressure to step into the number one role in 2024 and is embracing it. Definitely just being one of the older guys in the room now, I'm looking to take that next step. Morris said last week at Will Johnson's youth camp in Detroit, that's my expectations. That's my expectation for myself. What I hope the team asks for me is just to step up and be the player I know I can be. Tight end Colston Loveland figures to be a focal point of Michigan's passing offense after finishing second on the team with 649 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns last year. Donovan Edwards' pass catching ability out of the backfield also will make him a wide receiving threat once again. But who will start at quarterback next year remains unclear, although redshirt sophomore Alex Orji generated the most buzz during spring practices. And I know, Antoine, that's your favorite part of this whole thing, Alex Orji. And we're going to get to Alex Orji. Morris was teammates with J.J. McCarthy at Nazareth Academy in Illinois and missed his senior season because of a torn ACL. The 5'11", 185-pounder played sparingly as a freshman when Caden McNamara was the starter, stepping into a larger role in 2023 with McCarthy behind center. But that also, his first year, Ronnie Bell was also on the roster, as was Andrel Anthony. So you had Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson, Ronnie Bell, and also Andrel Anthony and AJ Henning. So, yeah, they had a loaded wide receiver room in 2021. Next year will be an adjustment for all of the receivers, especially Morris, but he said developing chemistry won't be an issue. It's been good because the whole time I've been here, I've still been around them. Morris said of the quarterbacks, Orji, Jack Tuttle, Jada Denigal, and Davis Warren, coming in with Alex and Jaden, with them in my class, definitely got good chemistry with them. A lot of other quarterbacks, we've had our time to practice together and get to know each other. And we're just hoping to keep building on as the season goes. Behind Morris, sophomore Samaj Morgan is in line for a featured role after coming on strong late last season. Fred Moore played just over 100 snaps as a freshman and will be in the mix. And the team also added 2 players in the portal, Amarian Walker from Ole Miss and CJ Charleston from Youngstown State. Walker was recruited to the Wolverines as a receiver, but moved to cornerback last year before entering the portal in January. So I don't think, in terms of those guys, I don't think we have a lot of, I know this is what I don't think we have a lot of height out there. But if we're running crossing routes and slants in those routes, then height is not that big a deal. I know a lot of people want to see those jump balls, like the ones we were able to throw to Nico Collins when he was here, And yeah, that was a tall group. Nico Collins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Zach Gentry. That was a tall group. But our last sets of receivers have been smaller, more shifty guys. All right, what is Antoine saying? What does Antoine say? By the way, Tyler Morris's big play was a slant route. Okay. Doc, I'm going to send you some stuff on Twitter to ease your mind about Antoine. I'm not worried about Orji. I think it's going to work out fine. I'm just saying, for the sake of completeness, no, we don't know. There may be a game or two where we're going to have to see him spin that ball, as Coach Prime says. All right, Antoine, won't we need to see Orji spin that ball? Okay, he says Michigan's tight end room is going to be equivalent of Ohio State's receivers. If Michigan trots out all their tight ends, it would be nothing nobody could do to match up. That's right. We also have the Marlon Klein kid. We got tight ends, Brady, Hogan, Olish, Klein, Deacon, Eli. Yep. And we can throw jump balls, but they're going to be to our tight ends, which is a bigger mismatch. All right. So I have one more piece here. Antoine says Orji is going to throw 10-yard passes, which is Michigan's offense. People act like they haven't seen Michigan play. Okay. Well, Antoine, the other thing to play devil's advocate, we've been used to seeing JJ throw those darts and those ropes the last 2 to 3 years. Okay. And Cade had some touch on the ball too. So that's what we're used to. So Daniel Shavira, thank you for stopping through. He says, our schedule, the toughest teams on our schedule are Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State. But a big trap game is Michigan State and an upset early, a potential upset early, especially since they got a hidden gem at quarterback, Aiden Childs, which could be a surprise team. Thank you for that. Okay, now on to Antoine's favorite topic, Alex Orji. This is a short one, I promise, and I am at 38 minutes here, and I want to wrap this up shortly. Okay, Alex Orji. Alex. All right. There's a picture of Mike Gundy from OSU. Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. But this is about Alex Orji. So Alex Orji shares honest thoughts on starting quarterback race at Michigan. This was written on July 2nd, so last week. Everyone, I promise this is short. All right. Okay. Michigan football was ranked 10th. Michigan football was ranked 10th overall in ESPN's unofficial post-spring rankings. And many are of the opinion that Coach Sherrone Moore's team would be ranked higher if not for questions of uncertainty surrounding the quarterback position. See, Antoine, everybody's curious about our quarterback position. Okay. That may be the position that tips the scale of our team this year. All right. And let me close down the things here that I'm not using. Give me a second. Close that one. Close that one. Oh, and the ESPN site. Let me close the ESPN site. All right. Let me go back. I don't think Antoine thinks Michigan State's going to be a factor against us this year based upon that emoji. All right. The Wolverines' projected starter is Texas native Alex Orji, who spoke from the heart about the Michigan quarterback race at a Detroit-based football camp this past month. Orji said that ball security is first and foremost on his mind as he continues to take snaps with the first team offense. He added that he's putting the team first and doing whatever he can to help Michigan football win all of its ball games this season. The weight that the Block M holds and the winged helmet, it's like we know that we've got to protect the football. We know we've got to assert dominance, and we've got to emphasize execution and tie everything together, Orji said about the team's offense. Orji was asked about a potential timeline for Coach Moore choosing a starting quarterback among himself, Jaden Denikel, Jack Tuttle, Davis Warren, and freshman Jaden Davis. It doesn't matter to me. I want to know whatever it takes to win all our ball games, Orji said, according to Michigan reporter Isaiah Hull's YouTube channel. If I'm not the starter going into week one, I want to know whatever I can do to help the team, he added. And if helping the team is me being the starter, then I want to work to do that, Orji said, adding that he could see a scenario in which Coach Moore uses different starting quarterbacks in week one versus the Fresno State Bulldogs in week two versus the Texas Longhorns. Orji said that he would love to be the starter, calling it a great opportunity. See, everyone, I promised that was short. So he's the front runner for the quarterback position. We know what we think we know what we'll see in the RPO game. Right, Antoine? But we just don't know what we'll see in terms of the passing game. Let's see. Antoine is laughing at Michigan State. He says, Doc, people have been doubting us for years. Bro, getting tired of that they're riding Michigan like we're the average college team and needs to throw, but people are slow. Okay, what's going on here? All right, I'm having a technical difficulty here. Can you guys still hear me? Can you guys still hear me? Say something if you can still hear me. Okay. Antoine's comment is frozen on the screen. Daniel, I want to read yours, but it's frozen. I don't know. Maybe that's a sign I should stop. All right. Maybe that's a sign. I got kicked out of my studio just there briefly. So maybe that is a sign that I should wrap this up. Okay. Let's see. I just read something Antoine wrote. So I'll start here where Antoine said, and most of JJ's passes were no more than 10 to 20 yards. Laughing at Michigan State. Daniel says the only way we burn Jaden Davis's red shirt is if the Orji experiment doesn't work, and if the current quarterbacks we got aren't good enough. Antoine says people are rating Michigan like we're an average college team. They've been doubting us for years. It's the same old song. We don't throw the ball like it's silly. We damn near won the whole thing with Cade. Thank you guys for letting me know that you can hear me. Sometimes there are technical issues with this, with the software. All right. So Antoine sent me a video on the run pass option, the RPO, featuring Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. So I'm going to show a little bit of this. Okay. Antoine, are you still out there? Antoine, you feeling social? You want to come up and say a few words? Or you just want me to show this? So I'll drop the link if you want to come up. Yes, no, maybe. All right, well, I'm going to cue it up. Okay, just play it. Okay, Antoine, I'm going to have to stop this and do the fair use thing so I don't get a strike. Okay. All right, everyone. So this is fair use, YouTube, fair use. Okay, so this first play here is Jalen Hurts handing off to his running back. I can't see who that running back is, but I think this is what Antoine is foreseeing that we're gonna see with Alex Orji the majority of the year with our team. So fair use, YouTube. Okay, so that was Jalen Hurts faking to his running back and then running for a first down. Okay, this is what. See, Antoine, please play the sound. See, man, you're gonna give me a copyright strike. You're gonna give me a copyright strike. You're gonna get my video demonetized. Okay. Fair use, YouTube. I think I can do this in 10 to 15-second intervals. Fair use.
They've combined some of the most popular college.
Okay. Antoine, I'm just going to do a few of these.
The most
fair use, YouTube. Fair use. YouTube, this is for educational purposes. This is for educational purposes only. Okay. Fair use.
Popular college systems into an impressive offensive attack. They're using a read option rushing attack with both gap and zone schemes while combining the explosiveness of the air raid system through the air. The Eagles' offense starts on the ground. They don't use an excessive amount of motion, but they put defenses into extreme conflict with defender reads and RPOs.
Antoine, I'm going to play a few more minutes here, and then I'm going to wrap the stream up. But fair use, YouTube. This is for educational purposes only. Let's see, that's 30 seconds. Fair use.
By using Jalen Hurts as a runner, they are equaling the playing field and the inherent numbers advantage that all defenses have. They find ways to create reads and force defenses to think and react on the fly. What that does is force defenses to bring an extra defender to account for Jalen Hurts. With more defenders contributing to the run and attaching to RPOs, the Eagles end up seeing a good amount of man coverage.
I'll play 10 more seconds. But you all get the point. This is the type of offense that we're likely going to run with Alex Orji if he is the primary signal caller. If he's QB1, we're going to see a lot of this. If you combine his legs with Donovan Edwards' legs, it's going to cause a lot of mismatches, and it's going to cause a lot of confusion for defenses. But of course, the other key is going to be the offensive linemen, and we have had to reload the offensive line and get those guys. We have to get those guys to gel because all those guys graduated. Trevor Keegan, Karsten Barnhart, Zenter, all those guys, Trente, all those guys are gone. Okay. I'll play 10 more seconds. Fair use, YouTube. This is for educational purposes only.
And that's where the air raid portion of the offense starts to take off. Air raid is known for using passing concepts like mesh and four verticals to create immense
I'll play one more play here. Fair use.
Vertical and horizontal stress on the defense. In conventional air raid offenses, they combine that passing attack with a vertical run game and high tempo, which...
Antoine, do you have any you do have some comments here. He says, with the RPO, your offensive line don't have to be that good. Okay. And he says, but if your offensive line is good, it's even worse. Okay, I'll play this last play and then because now I'm getting intrigued here. Let me leave this link to myself. No, Antoine already shared the link. Okay. Fair use, YouTube.
The Eagles also like to sprinkle in. They certainly run more gap scheme and inside zone than they do schemes that stress the edges of the defense. And if they find a weakness, they're going to run the exact same concept.
All right. I'm going to wrap this up. Antoine, thank you for sharing that. I mean, we've talked a lot back and forth about the RPO, but it's important to see it as well. Okay, everyone, that's pretty much all I've got. Do you guys have any more comments there in the chat? Do you have any more comments there in the chat? Antoine says, look how simple that pass was, Doc. A simple slant route. And he says, what it does is it forces a safety to come down, which makes the passing game even easier. Yeah, I can see that. If they're getting crushed in the run game, then he says, do you hear any familiar plays? Do you hear any familiar plays, gap concepts like us? Do you hear any familiar play? Do you mean do any other teams have a scheme like ours, or what does that mean? Okay, I'm going to wind this down. Everybody, this is Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to donate something to the channel, my Cash App and PayPal are below in the description box. You can also leave a super thanks if you see fit. For the readers out there, I know there aren't a lot of readers on YouTube. I also am a writer. I'm finishing up my sports-related book. As a matter of fact, I'm going to work on a chapter once I finish this up. But I also have a newsletter. This link is in the description box below. There's a 2-paragraph greeting, and then there is the subscription button there. You just click that and you're signed up if you're a reader and if you want to follow me as a content creator at large. So with that, everyone, I'm going to wrap this up. Antoine says we're going to create a segment called Antoine Says. The Eagles run the same gap schemes. Okay. All right, everyone. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you, Antoine, for schooling us on that and for your participation. If you're watching on the playback, again, please like, share, and subscribe, especially if you are new. And yeah, stay safe out there, everyone. Stay cool, depending upon where you are. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Go blue. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye. Look it over. Tell me what you think on Twitter. Sure thing. Go blue, everybody. And good night.